Admiral Kang Ji-woo stood on the bridge of the Earth Defense Coalition flagship, watching the massive alien vessel hover above Seoul. The ship was 3 times larger than anything humans had ever built, and its dark metal surface seemed to drink in the sunlight. Smaller ships surrounded it like angry wasps around their queen, and each one carried enough firepower to level a major city. The communication console beeped with an incoming transmission. Kang Ji-woo nodded to his communications officer who opened the channel. The holographic display flickered to life, showing a creature that made everyone on the bridge take a step back. The alien had reptilian features with yellow eyes that seemed to burn with ancient hatred, and its scaled skin was the color of dried blood. "I am Overlord Thexmar of the Vorthak Empire and speaker for the Galactic Hegemony," the creature said, in perfect but cold English. "Your species has been found guilty of existing without permission in this sector of space. You have 72 hours to surrender all military assets and submit to colonial rule. Refuse, and your world dies." The transmission cut off, leaving the bridge in silence. Kang Ji-woo felt the weight of 8 billion human lives pressing down on his shoulders. Through the viewports, he could see the alien ships positioned over every major city on Earth. They had appeared without warning, using technology that made human faster-than-light travel look like children playing with toy boats. Director Park Min-ho arrived on the bridge 30 minutes later, looking like he had aged 10 years in the past hour. He was the head of Earth's Strategic Defense Initiative and one of the few people who knew all of humanity's military secrets. His usually calm face showed cracks of worry that made Kang Ji-woo's stomach twist with fear. "How many ships do they have?" Park Min-ho asked quietly. 847 confirmed vessels," replied Lieutenant Kim Hansel from the sensor station. "Each one is showing energy signatures that dwarf our most powerful battleships. Their smallest escorts could probably take on our entire fleet." Park Min-ho closed his eyes and rubbed his temples. The Earth Defense Coalition had 23 combat vessels and a few hundred smaller patrol craft. Against a normal human enemy, they would be a formidable force. But these aliens had technology that was centuries ahead of anything Earth possessed. President Lee Hyuna's face appeared on the main screen, connecting from the emergency bunker beneath, Geneva. Her usual composed expression was strained, and Kang Ji-woo could see other world leaders gathered behind her in heated discussion. Chancellor Kim Dae-ho of the European-Asian Alliance was arguing with someone off-screen while military advisors moved back and forth with urgent reports. "Admiral Kang," President Lee said, "what are our options?" Kang Ji-woo looked at the tactical display showing the hopeless odds. "Militarily, we have no chance in a direct confrontation. Their ships use energy shields that our weapons cannot penetrate, and their firepower advantage is overwhelming. If we fight, we lose everything." "And if we surrender?" asked Chancellor Kim Dae-ho, leaning into view. "Then humanity becomes a slave species," Park Min-ho answered grimly. "The hegemony has done this before. We intercepted some of their data transmissions and found records of 46 other species that faced the same choice. The ones that surrendered were stripped of all technology and forced to work in alien mining colonies. The ones that fought were completely destroyed." The room fell silent as the weight of the situation settled on everyone. Earth had spent decades building up its defenses after discovering they were not alone in the universe, but no one had expected an invasion force this massive and advanced. Dr. Yu Sujin entered the communication chamber behind President Lee, looking nervous but determined. She was the head of several classified research projects and rarely appeared in public meetings. Her presence made Kang Ji-woo wonder what other secrets the government had been keeping. "President Lee," Dr. Yu said quietly, "there is another option." Every person in both locations turned to look at her. Dr. Yu had helped develop most of Earth's advanced defensive systems, and if anyone had a solution, it would be her. "Explain," President Lee ordered. Dr. Yu glanced around nervously before speaking. "Project Shadowfall has been operational for 15 years. We built it specifically for this scenario." Chancellor Kim Dae-ho frowned. "I have never heard of any Project Shadowfall." "Because it was classified beyond your security level," Dr. Yu replied. "Only 12 people on Earth know the full details. We have been preparing for alien invasion since we first detected signs of advanced civilizations in nearby systems." Kang Ji-woo felt his heart rate increase. What kind of preparation? Dr. Yu took a deep breath. We built a second fleet, one that uses technology the aliens have never seen before. We call it the Black Armada. The silence that followed was deafening. Park Min-ho stared at Dr. Yu with an expression of disbelief mixed with hope. Even he had not known about this project. How many ships? President Lee asked quietly. 127 combat vessels, Dr. Yu answered. Each one designed specifically to fight enemies with superior conventional technology. They use experimental systems that exist outside normal space-time. Kang Jiwoo's mind raced with questions. Where are these ships? Why were they not included in our defense planning? They are stationed in the outer system hidden from all scanning methods, Dr. Yu explained. We kept them secret because the technology is extremely dangerous. The weapon systems can tear holes in reality itself, and the armor phases between dimensions. If the wrong people gained access to this technology, it could destroy not just Earth, but potentially damage the fabric of space around our solar system. Chancellor Kim Dae-ho leaned forward. Can these ships defeat the alien fleet? Unknown, Dr. Yu admitted. The Black Armada was designed to level the playing field against technologically superior enemies, but we have never tested it against real alien technology. What I can tell you is that our weapons work on completely different principles than anything the hegemony uses. Their shields and armor are designed to stop energy weapons and kinetic projectiles, but our dark matter cannons and quantum torpedoes attack matter at the subatomic level. President Lee looked around the room at her advisors and then back at Dr. Yu. What do you recommend? We refuse their ultimatum, Dr. Yu said firmly. We show them that humanity does not kneel to anyone. The Black Armada crews have been training for this moment for years, and they are ready to prove that human ingenuity can overcome any advantage. Admiral Kang Jiwoo studied the alien fleet positions on his tactical display. The invaders had arranged themselves in a standard occupation formation, assuming that Earth would either surrender immediately or put up only token resistance. They were not prepared for a real fight. If we do this, there is no going back, he said slowly. Once we reveal the Black Armada, the aliens will know that we have been preparing for war. Even if we win this battle, they will return with reinforcements. Then we make sure they understand the cost of threatening Earth, Dr. Yu replied. The Black Armada is not just a defensive force. It was designed to take the fight to enemy territory and show them what happens when they underestimate humanity. President Lee looked at each person on the screen before making her decision. Dr. Yu, contact your people and tell them to prepare for Operation Prometheus. Admiral Kang, coordinate with the Black Armada Command and prepare our conventional forces to support their attack. We are going to show these aliens that Earth does not submit to threats. As the communication ended, Kang Jiwoo felt a mixture of fear and excitement. In less than 72 hours, humanity would either prove itself capable of standing against galactic powers or face complete annihilation. Either way, the universe was about to learn that humans were not the helpless prey, species the aliens expected. Captain Song Wanbin floated in the command center of the Soul's Vengeance, watching his crew prepare for what might be humanity's last battle. The ship hung motionless in the void beyond Pluto, where sunlight was just another distant star and the cold of space pressed against the hull like a living thing. Around him, the other vessels of the Black Armada waited in perfect silence, their dark hulls invisible against the cosmic background. The Soul's Vengeance was unlike any ship ever built by human hands. Where normal vessels were sleek and curved, this one was all sharp angles and brutal efficiency. Its hull was made from a strange black material that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it, and strange geometric patterns covered its surface like ritual scars. The ship looked more like a weapon than a vehicle, and that was exactly what it was meant to be. Chief Engineer Bae Jihan moved between the engineering stations, checking systems that most humans could not even understand. The quantum-entangled armor plating existed in multiple dimensions at the same time, making the ship incredibly difficult to damage with conventional weapons. The dark matter cannons could punch holes through space itself, and the consciousness-guided missiles learned and adapted as they flew toward their targets. Captain, called Lieutenant Park Ji-soo from the communications station. We are receiving the activation codes from Earth Command. Song Wanbin nodded and touched his command console. Throughout the fleet, similar scenes were playing out as 127 ships received their orders. These crews had volunteered for a mission that might never let them return home, and every person aboard knew that Earth's survival depended on their success. Commander Shin Yunji commanded the stealth frigates that formed the fleet's advance force. Her ships were even stranger than the main battle vessels, with hulls that could bend light around them and engines that moved through folded space without creating the energy signatures that normal faster-than-light drives produced. She had spent 5 years training her crews to fight enemies they had never seen, using weapons that existed more in theory than reality. "All stealth units report ready for quantum fold insertion," Yunji transmitted to the fleet command. Her voice was calm, but Song Wanbin could hear the tension underneath. They had practiced this mission hundreds of times in simulations, but no one knew how their experimental technology would perform against real alien defenses. Admiral Nam Tae-hyun commanded the heavy assault ships from his flagship, the Busan's Hammer. These were the largest vessels in the Black Armada, and each one carried enough firepower to crack a moon in half. Unlike the stealth ships that relied on avoiding detection, the assault vessels were designed to engage enemy capital ships in direct combat and destroy them through overwhelming force. Heavy assault group standing by. Nam Tae-hyun reported. "Dark matter cannons are charged and quantum torpedoes are loaded. We are ready to show these aliens what human engineering can accomplish." Lieutenant Colonel Cho Min-woo prepared his special forces teams for boarding operations that would be necessary once the fleet engaged the enemy. His soldiers wore powered armor that interfaced directly with their nervous systems, allowing them to move and react faster than any normal human could manage. The armor also protected them from the strange environments they might encounter aboard alien vessels. "Boarding teams ready for deployment," Cho Min-woo announced. "We have studied every piece of alien technology we could obtain, and our equipment is designed to operate in any environment these creatures might use." Song Wanbin looked at the tactical display showing the positions of every ship in the Black Armada. 15 years of preparation had led to this moment, and the fate of humanity rested on technology that pushed the boundaries of what was considered possible. The ships around him represented the best of human science and engineering combined with a determination that refused to accept defeat. Dr. Yu Sujin's voice came through the communication system from her command ship, the Incheon's Pride. "All ships, this is Shadowfall Command. Project Prometheus is now active, and we are authorized to engage hostile forces. Remember that we are not just defending Earth, but proving that humanity deserves its place among the stars." The quantum fold drives began to power up, creating distortions in space-time that would allow the fleet to travel faster than light without using the conventional hyperspace lanes that aliens could monitor. The technology was still experimental and dangerous, but it gave the Black Armada the element of surprise that would be crucial in the coming battle. Song Wanbin activated his ship's artificial intelligence, which had been designed to help coordinate the complex weapon systems during combat. "Aria, bring all systems to combat readiness and prepare for quantum fold insertion to Earth orbit." "Understood, Captain." The AI responded in a voice that sounded almost human. "All weapon systems are optimal and quantum fold drive is ready for activation. Estimated travel time to Earth is 6 hours and 43 minutes. The Soul's Vengeance began to move along with the rest of the fleet as they prepared to make the journey from the outer system to Earth orbit. The ships moved through quantum-folded space in a way that made them effectively invisible to any scanning technology the aliens possessed. They would arrive at Earth without warning and engage the invading fleet before the enemy could react. Commander Shin Yunji's stealth frigates entered quantum fold first, disappearing from normal space in flashes of twisted light. Their mission was to position themselves around the alien fleet and gather intelligence while remaining completely undetected. The information they collected would be vital for the main assault. "Stealth units have successfully inserted into Earth orbit," Yunji reported 30 minutes later. "Enemy fleet is maintaining standard occupation formation and shows no signs of detecting our presence, transmitting tactical data to all units." The intelligence gathered by the stealth ships revealed that the alien fleet was even larger than Earth's sensors had detected. Hidden among the main battle group were support vessels and troop transports that suggested the invaders were prepared for a long occupation rather than a quick conquest. Admiral Nam Tae-hyun studied the new data and adjusted his attack plan accordingly. "Heavy assault group will target the enemy command ships first. We need to disrupt their coordination before they can respond effectively to our attack. Song Wanbin reviewed the tactical information and felt a cold anger building in his chest. The aliens had come to Earth expecting an easy victory against a primitive species. They had positioned their ships to intimidate human cities rather than to defend against military attack. This arrogance would be their downfall. All units prepare for combat insertion, Song Wanbin ordered. We will emerge from Quantum Fold in attack formation and engage immediately. No warnings, no negotiations, just swift and overwhelming force. The Black Armada continued its journey through folded space, while their crews made final preparations for battle. These men and women had trained for years to use weapons and technology that existed at the very edge of human understanding. They were about to face an enemy that had conquered dozens of worlds, but they carried with them something the aliens had never encountered before. Lieutenant Colonel Cho Minwoo briefed his boarding teams one final time. Remember that we are not just fighting for victory, but for the right of humanity to exist as a free species. These aliens see us as nothing more than animals to be controlled or destroyed. We are going to show them that they have made a terrible mistake. The quantum fold drives reached full power, creating tiers in space-time that would deliver the Black Armada directly into battle. Song Wanbin looked around his bridge at the crew members who had dedicated their lives to this moment. In a few hours, they would either save humanity or die trying. All ships report ready for combat insertion, Dr. Yu Sujin announced from Shadowfall Command. Operation Prometheus is now in effect. Show them what happens when humanity is pushed too far. The Soul's vengeance entered the final phase of Quantum Fold. As Earth grew larger in the viewports, soon the aliens would discover that their easy conquest had become a fight for survival against an enemy they had never imagined could exist. Overlord Thexmar stood on the bridge of the Dominion's will, watching the primitive blue world turn slowly beneath his fleet. The deadline had passed, and as expected, the humans had refused to surrender. Their defiance would serve as an excellent example to other species in this sector who might consider resisting hegemony rule. Begin the demonstration, Thexmar ordered his weapons officer. Destroy their moon first. Let them watch their sky change before we end their pathetic civilization. The massive alien dreadnought began to turn toward Earth's moon, while smaller vessels moved into bombardment positions. The hegemony had performed this ritual many times before on dozens of worlds, and the psychological effect was always devastating. Most species surrendered immediately after watching their homeworld's moon reduced to cosmic dust. Captain Song Wanbin watched the alien fleet movements from his position just outside normal space-time. The Soul's vengeance and the rest of the Black Armada remained invisible to enemy sensors while they prepared to emerge from Quantum Fold directly into the heart of the alien formation. All units report ready for combat emergence, Song Wanbin announced to the fleet. Remember that our first strike must cripple their command structure. We will not get a second chance at surprise. The Quantum Fold drives powered down, and space itself seemed to ripple as 127 human warships materialized around the alien fleet like ghosts stepping out of nightmares. The Black Armada appeared without warning, their dark hulls reflecting no light as they took position for the attack that would change galactic history. Weapons free, Song Wanbin commanded. Show them human fury. The Soul's vengeance fired the first shot of humanity's war for independence. A dark matter torpedo phased through normal space-time and struck the Dominion's will directly in its reactor core. The alien flagship simply ceased to exist as the dark matter weapon tore its atoms apart at the quantum level, leaving nothing but empty space where the pride of the Vorthak fleet had been. Commander Shin Yunji's stealth frigates emerged from their hiding positions and began hunting the alien escort vessels with surgical precision. Their adaptive missiles learned from each target they engaged, becoming more effective with every strike. The alien point defense systems that could stop conventional weapons were useless against projectiles that evolved to counter them in real time. First wave targets eliminated, Yunji reported as another alien cruiser exploded under the assault of learning weapons. Moving to engage secondary targets. Admiral Nam Tae-hyun's heavy assault ships opened fire on the alien capital vessels with weapons that defied everything the hegemony thought they knew about physics. The quantum cannons created tiers in space-time that bypassed enemy shields entirely, while dark matter charges detonated inside alien hulls with devastating effect. The Busan's hammer engaged 3 enemy dreadnoughts simultaneously using weapons that attacked matter at the subatomic level. The alien vessels tried to return fire, but their energy beams struck quantum-phased armor that existed in multiple dimensions at once. The human ship absorbed hits that should have vaporized it while continuing its relentless assault. Overlord Thexmar found himself aboard a fleeing command vessel as his fleet disintegrated around him. The humans had appeared from nowhere, using technology that made no sense according to established galactic science. Their ships moved through space in ways that violated the basic laws of physics, and their weapons struck targets that should have been impossible to hit. Send emergency. Transmission to Hegemony Command, Thexmar ordered his surviving communications officer. The humans have technology beyond our understanding. They are not the primitive species we expected. Request immediate reinforcements from all available fleets. Lieutenant Colonel Cho Minwoo led his boarding teams against the alien vessels that had been disabled but not destroyed. The Special Forces soldiers moved through the strange environments of alien ships like unstoppable forces of nature. Their powered armor allowed them to function in any atmosphere, while their weapons could penetrate any material the aliens used for protection. Boarding teams have secured the enemy command ship, Cho Min-woo reported as his soldiers fought their way through corridors filled with terrified alien crew members. We are downloading their databases and capturing key personnel for interrogation. The battle that was supposed to be a one-sided massacre had become a rout of the alien fleet. Human ships that should not have been able to exist were systematically destroying vessels that had conquered dozens of worlds. The hegemony's overwhelming technological advantage had been turned against them by weapons that operated outside their understanding of science. Song Wanbin watched the tactical display as alien ships tried desperately to escape the killing zone. His weapons officer targeted another enemy cruiser with a consciousness-guided torpedo that learned to anticipate evasive maneuvers before the alien captain even thought of them. Direct hit on enemy vessel, the weapons officer reported. Target destroyed. No survivors detected. The Soul's Vengeance moved through the battle zone like a predator among prey. Its quantum-phased hull absorbed enemy fire, while its exotic weapons carved through alien defenses as if they did not exist. The ship represented 15 years of human preparation and determination to never again be helpless against superior force. Commander Shin Yoonji coordinated her stealth frigates as they hunted down the fleeing alien vessels. The enemy ships were faster than conventional human vessels, but the stealth ships could move through folded space to appear directly in front of their targets. Enemy destroyer attempting to escape to hyperspace, one of her captains reported. Intercepting now. Negative, Yoonji replied. Let them go. We want survivors to carry word of this battle back to their masters. The galaxy needs to know what happens when humanity is threatened. Admiral Nam Tae-hyun's heavy assault ships had finished destroying the main alien battle line and were now engaging the support vessels that carried the invasion force's ground troops. These ships were not designed for combat, but the Admiral showed them no mercy. Any species that came to Earth with the intention of enslaving humanity deserved no consideration. All enemy troop transports destroyed, Nam Tae-hyun reported. The invasion force has been completely eliminated. The battle had lasted only 6 hours, but in that time, the Black Armada had destroyed over 800 alien vessels while suffering. No losses of their own. The quantum-phased armor and exotic weapons had proven completely superior to conventional galactic technology, and the element of surprise had allowed the human fleet to achieve perfect tactical positioning. Overlord Thexamar's command ship was one of only 12 alien vessels that managed to escape the destruction of the hegemony fleet. As his ship limped toward hyperspace, he sent a final transmission that would terrify alien civilizations across the galaxy. This is Overlord Thexamar to all hegemony forces, he broadcast on emergency frequencies. Earth is defended by weapons that exist outside known science. The humans have ghost ships that appear from nothing and vanish before our sensors can track them. They strike with the fury of demons and show no mercy to those who threaten their world. Avoid human space at all costs. Captain Song Wanbin stood on his bridge, watching the last alien ships disappear into hyperspace. The Soul's Vengeance and the rest of the Black Armada had achieved a victory that would echo across the galaxy, but he knew this was only the beginning. The hegemony would not accept such a defeat without attempting revenge. All ships report battle damage and casualties, Song Wanbin ordered. Prepare for pursuit operations. We are going to follow those survivors back to their home bases and show them that threatening Earth was the worst mistake they ever made. Dr. Yu Sujin's voice came through the communications system from Shadowfall Command. Outstanding work, all units. Phase 1 of Operation Prometheus is complete. Now we begin Phase 2. The hegemony wanted to make humanity kneel, but instead they have awakened something they cannot control. We are taking this war to them. The Black Armada regrouped in Earth orbit as humanity celebrated its impossible victory. The alien fleet that had come to conquer Earth lay in ruins, and the survivors carried word of human fury back to their masters. But for the crews of the Black Armada, this was not an ending, but a beginning. They had tasted victory against impossible odds, and now they hungered for more. Admiral Kang Ji-woo stood in the war room beneath Geneva studying star charts that showed the known territories of the galactic hegemony. The victory at Earth had been beyond anyone's wildest expectations, but intelligence gathered from captured alien databases revealed the true scope of what humanity now faced. The hegemony controlled over 300 star systems and commanded fleets that numbered in the tens of thousands. Dr. Yu Sujin entered the room carrying data tablets filled with information extracted from the alien prisoners. Her usually calm expression was troubled by what she had learned from interrogating the surviving enemy crew members. "The intelligence we have gathered changes everything," she announced to the assembled leaders. "The hegemony has done this 46 times before. They have enslaved or exterminated 46 different species that refused to submit to their rule." President Lee Hyuna looked up from the strategic reports she had been reviewing. "How many of those species survived enslavement?" 3, Dr. Yu replied grimly. "The rest were worked to death in mining colonies or used as experimental subjects for biological weapons research. The hegemony does not allow enslaved species to maintain their own culture or technology." Chancellor Kim Dae-ho studied the star charts showing the locations of hegemony worlds. "What about the species that chose to fight?" "Complete extinction," Dr. Yu answered. "The hegemony would arrive with overwhelming force and offer the same choice they gave us. Species that refused to surrender had their worlds burned and their populations eliminated down to the last individual." The room fell silent as everyone absorbed the implications. Humanity had not just won a battle, but had become the first species in galactic history to successfully resist hegemony conquest. The aliens would never allow such a precedent to stand unchallenged. Captain Song Wanbin appeared on the main communication screen from the Soul's Vengeance. Behind him, the bridge of the Black Armada flagship bustled with activity as his crew prepared for extended operations far from Earth. "Admiral Kang, we have completed analysis of the enemy databases," Song Wanbin reported. "The surviving alien ships fled toward a fortress world called Kelanos, which serves as the regional command center for this sector. Our intelligence indicates it is heavily defended and serves as the main staging area for hegemony expansion operations." Admiral Kang Ji-woo studied the tactical information being transmitted from the Black Armada. Kelanos was located 3 systems away from Earth and commanded a network of military bases that controlled dozens of enslaved worlds. "What is your assessment, Captain?" Kang Ji-woo asked. "We can take it," Song Wanbin replied without hesitation. "The fortress is designed to defend against conventional galactic technology. They have no defenses against quantum-phased weapons or dark matter cannons. More importantly, they are not expecting an attack. The hegemony has never faced an enemy capable of striking at their core territories." Dr. Yu Sujin pulled up intelligence files on her data tablet. "There is something else we discovered in the alien databases. Kelanos is not just a military base. It contains the administrative records for all enslaved species in this sector, including the locations of labor camps and research facilities." President Lee Hyuna leaned forward with interest. "Are you suggesting we could liberate other species?" "More than that," Dr. Yu replied. "We could potentially find survivors from species the hegemony thought they had completely destroyed. Some of the so-called extinct civilizations may still have populations in hidden camps or research stations." The implications were staggering. Humanity could transform from a single-world species under threat to the leader of a multi-species liberation movement. The psychological impact on the hegemony would be devastating if their victims began to fight back with human support. "Commander, Shin Yunji's image appeared on a secondary screen as she reported from her stealth frigate patrol near the edge of human space. Admiral, we are detecting increased hegemony scout activity in neighboring systems. They are clearly preparing some kind of response to our victory. Time frame? Admiral Kang Ji-woo asked. Unknown. But the scout ships are using high-speed communication. Relays to report back to their commanders, Yunji replied. Whatever they are planning, it will probably involve significantly larger forces than the initial invasion fleet. Song Won-bin looked directly at the camera with an expression of grim determination. Then we need to strike first and strike hard. Every day we wait gives them more time to prepare defenses against our technology. Admiral Nam Tae-hyun's voice joined the conference from his command ship. The heavy assault group is ready for extended operations. We have fabricated additional quantum torpedoes and dark matter charges using the enemy technology we captured. Our firepower has actually increased since the Earth battle. Lieutenant Colonel Cho Min-woo added his report from the Special Forces Command Center. Boarding teams have completed training with captured alien equipment. We can now operate their technology and have learned to counter their security systems. Any hegemony installation we board will be completely compromised. Dr. Yu Soo-jin activated a holographic display showing the current disposition of Black Armada forces. Project Shadowfall has one more surprise for the hegemony. We have been monitoring their communication networks since the Earth battle and have identified the locations of slave camps containing survivors from supposedly extinct species. The display showed dozens of star systems where the hegemony maintained forced labor operations. Each one represented thousands or millions of beings who had been enslaved by the same aliens that tried to conquer Earth. Our technology allows us to reach any of these locations faster than the hegemony can respond, Dr. Yu continued. We can liberate entire populations before their guards even know we are coming. President Lee Hyuna made the decision that would reshape the balance of power in the galaxy. Authorization granted for Operation Liberation. Captain Song take the Black Armada to Kalanos and show the hegemony that their fortress worlds are not safe. Admiral Kang coordinate liberation operations for the enslaved populations. It is time the galaxy learned that humanity stands with all free species. Song Won-bin nodded and began issuing orders to his fleet commanders. All units prepare for quantum fold insertion to Kalanos system. We are going to tear down their fortress and show them what happens when they threaten peaceful species. The Soul's Vengeance and its escort vessels disappeared into quantum fold while other elements of the Black Armada dispersed to liberate slave camps across hegemony space. The hunt had begun, and humanity was no longer the prey. Major Park Soo-young activated the psychological warfare systems that had been installed throughout the Black Armada fleet. Her broadcasts would be transmitted on all hegemony frequencies as human forces struck at their targets. Attention all hegemony forces, she announced. This is humanity speaking. Your masters told you we would kneel, but instead we stand, and we are coming for them. Every species you have enslaved will be freed, and every world you have conquered will be liberated. The age of hegemony tyranny is ending. Commander Shin Yunji led a task force toward the Vorthak home system, where intelligence indicated the reptilian aliens maintained their primary slave processing facilities. Her stealth ships would arrive undetected and coordinate with boarding teams to free millions of enslaved beings. Stealth group approaching Vorthak Prime, she reported. Enemy defenses appear standard for hegemony installations. They have no idea we are coming. Admiral Nam Tae-hyun took his heavy assault ships toward a cluster of mining worlds where 3 different supposedly extinct species were being forced to extract rare minerals for hegemony weapons manufacturing. His dark matter cannons would make short work of the orbital defense platforms, while his marines secured the surface installations. Heavy assault group entering target system, Nam Tae-hyun announced. Beginning bombardment of enemy positions. The enslaved populations will be free within 6 hours. General Lim Jung-soo coordinated the establishment of forward bases in liberated systems using rapid deployment techniques developed specifically for extended operations. Human engineering. Teams worked alongside freed alien populations to build defensive installations that could protect the newly liberated worlds. Forward base construction proceeding ahead of schedule, General Lim reported. The freed populations are eager to help build defenses against hegemony retaliation. Their knowledge of enemy tactics is proving invaluable. The Black Armada struck at targets across a 100-light-year radius, destroying hegemony installations and freeing enslaved populations faster than the alien command structure could respond. Each victory brought more species into the growing alliance while demonstrating that hegemony power was not as absolute as their propaganda claimed. Song Wanbin watched Kalanos grow larger in his viewports as the Soul's vengeance approached. The Fortress World. The planet was surrounded by defensive stations and patrol fleets that represented centuries of hegemony military engineering. In a few hours, those defenses would be smoking ruins, and the galaxy would know that humanity had brought real war to their oppressors. President Lee Huna stood before the first Interspecies Congress in galactic history, looking out at delegates from 27 different worlds that had been liberated from hegemony rule. The Great Hall on Luna Station buzzed with dozens of languages as species that had been enslaved for generations worked together to build something the galaxy had never seen before. 1 year had passed since the Black Armada first struck at Kalanos, and the Fortress World now served as the headquarters for the Free Systems Alliance. The hegemony's regional command center had been converted into a coordination hub where former enemies worked side by side to protect their newfound freedom. "We never sought to rule the galaxy," President Lee addressed the assembled delegates. "We sought only to be free. But freedom is not something you can hoard for yourself. It must be shared with all beings who desire it." In the audience sat representatives from species that the hegemony had declared extinct. The crystalline Nexari had survived in hidden colonies, while the plant-like Verdani had maintained underground communities on their occupied homeworlds. Most surprising were the aquatic Hydros, whose ocean cities had remained hidden beneath the waves of their flooded planet. Admiral Kang Ji-woo commanded integrated fleets that combined human technology with the unique capabilities of dozens of allied species. The Nexari provided crystal-based computers that enhanced targeting systems, while Verdani bioships could repair themselves during combat. The Alliance military was becoming something far more powerful than the sum of its parts. Captain Song Wanbin now held the rank of admiral and oversaw the training of alien officers in human military doctrine. The core principle was simple but revolutionary in galactic terms: never kneel to tyrants and never force others to kneel to you. "The Soul's vengeance will be the first integrated command vessel," Song Wanbin announced to his mixed human and alien crew. "We are proving that different species can work together as equals rather than as masters and slaves." The bridge of the Soul's vengeance reflected the new reality of the Alliance. Nexari crystal beings operated sensor stations, while Verdani plant creatures managed life support systems with an intuitive understanding of biological processes. Human crew members worked alongside beings who had been considered extinct myths just months before. Dr. Yu Sujin had opened the Project Shadowfall research facilities to allied scientists, but with strict restrictions that reflected hard-learned lessons about the dangers of advanced weapons technology. The quantum-phased armor and dark matter cannons could only be installed on vessels dedicated to defensive operations and never used against civilian populations. "We have learned that power without restraint leads to tyranny," Dr. Yu explained to the Alliance Science Council. "Our technology will be shared freely, but only with those who pledge to use it to protect rather than conquer." The former hegemony species had undergone dramatic transformations as they adapted to life in the Alliance. The Vorthak Empire had dissolved into dozens of independent world states that competed economically rather than militarily. Many former Vorthak warriors had joined Alliance security forces where their natural aggression was channeled toward protecting peaceful species. Commander Shin Yunji now led Alliance intelligence operations that monitored the galaxy for new threats while coordinating with resistance movements on worlds still under hegemony control. Her stealth ships had become mobile command centers for liberation, operations that freed millions of enslaved beings each month. "Intelligence indicates that hegemony core worlds are experiencing massive civil unrest," Yunji reported to the Alliance Council. "Enslaved populations are rising up with the knowledge that freedom is possible. The psychological impact of our victories has been even more devastating than our military strikes." The economic transformation had been equally dramatic. Alliance worlds traded freely without the tribute payments that had flowed to hegemony overlords for centuries. Freed populations used their labor and resources for their own benefit while contributing to collective defense against remaining hegemony forces. Admiral Nam Tae-hyun commanded the Alliance Heavy Fleet, which had grown to include vessels from every member species. The combined force represented a level of cooperation that galactic civilization had never achieved before, with different technologies and tactics merged into unified operational doctrine. The Alliance fleet now numbers over 2,000 combat vessels, Nam Tae-hyun reported. More importantly, we have established shipyards in 15 systems that can produce new vessels using integrated technology from all member species. Lieutenant Colonel Cho Min-woo led Joint Special Forces units that included warriors from every Alliance species. These integrated teams had proven devastatingly effective at liberating hegemony installations because they could adapt to any environment or defensive system the enemies used. Joint operations have freed over 50 million enslaved beings in the past 6 months, Cho Min-woo announced. The hegemony can no longer maintain secure installations anywhere within 300 light-years of Alliance space. Chancellor Kim Dae-ho had established the principle of sovereignty that became the foundation of Alliance law. Every species had the right to stand or kneel by their own choice, and anyone who tried to force that choice forfeited their own right to it. The principle was simple but revolutionary in a galaxy that had known only conquest and submission. The Alliance Charter guarantees that no species will ever again face the choice between slavery and extinction, Chancellor Kim declared. We stand together as equals, or we do not stand at all. General Lim Jung-soo oversaw the establishment of defensive networks that protected Alliance space while providing support for liberation operations beyond their borders. The combined military infrastructure represented the most advanced defensive system in galactic history, with early warning networks that could detect threats from thousands of light-years away. Alliance defense grids are now operational in all core systems, General Lim reported. Any hostile force entering Alliance space will face immediate response from integrated defense fleets using quantum-enhanced weaponry. The transformation extended beyond military and political changes to fundamental shifts in how different species related to each other. The Alliance had proved that cooperation between equals was more effective than domination by superiors, and this lesson was spreading throughout the galaxy. Major Park Soo-young continued broadcasting Alliance principles to populations throughout hegemony space while coordinating with resistance movements that had sprung up on dozens of worlds. Her psychological warfare campaigns had convinced entire hegemony member species to switch sides and join the Alliance. Pro-Alliance sentiment is now detected in over 60% of former hegemony space, Park Soo-young reported. The idea that freedom is possible has become a virus that the hegemony cannot contain. But the greatest change was perhaps the most subtle. For the first time in galactic history, a major power had voluntarily limited its own expansion and shared its advantages with others. The Alliance could have easily conquered the remaining hegemony worlds, but chose instead to offer them freedom and equality. The celebration was interrupted by urgent alerts from Alliance monitoring stations. Long-range sensors had detected massive ships approaching from beyond the galactic rim using technology that dwarfed even the most advanced Alliance vessels. These ancient beings considered both the former hegemony and the new Alliance to be young species in need of guidance. Admiral Song Wanbin looked at the sensor readings, showing ships larger than moons approaching Alliance space. The newcomers broadcast messages claiming to be the Elder Council that had guided galactic development for millions of years. They offered to take control of Alliance territory for the good of all younger species. Signal the fleet, Song Wanbin ordered with a grim smile. It seems someone else needs to learn what happens when you try to make humanity kneel. The Black Armada powered up its weapons as Alliance ships from every member species moved into defensive positions. The galaxy had learned that freedom was worth fighting for, and that those who threatened it would face the combined fury of all free peoples. President Lee Hyuna's final words to the Congress echoed across Alliance space as the fleet prepared for battle. We have shown the galaxy that freedom is not a gift to be granted by superiors, but a right to be claimed by equals. Let any who would challenge that truth face the consequences of their arrogance. The Soul's vengeance led the Alliance fleet toward the edge of known space, where ancient tyrants waited to impose their will on younger species. Some lessons it seemed needed to be taught repeatedly, but humanity and its allies were prepared to be the teachers for as long as necessary.